Hey guys, welcome to my new prank video starring SCARCE. Hey guys, it's iPod Mini. I'm trying something a little new today. I'm doing a commentary. Wow, totally original idea. No one ever came up with that idea, right? I mean, first guy to do it. Right? First off, I'm gonna talk about the 100 subs that I now have. If you're not interested in that and you're here for the whole Overwatch versus TF2 commentary, I'll leave this timestamp here so that you can click on it and get to the argument faster. But yeah, let's get this started. First off, 100 subs sounds great. I have two people I like to thank for that especially. Demo and Super King Nicholas. Both helped me get these subs, and I like to thank them. I especially have to thank Demo for even doing this. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even really have the motivation to even do videos. So, thanks. Although 100 subs sounds like a small amount, it's a huge amount for me. So, thanks. Although, I mean, I'm losing subs, so I probably have like 2 subs by the end of this video. I now have an opportunity to entertain people, and although it's a very small opportunity, it's still an opportunity. So, I'll use it to my advantage, and I'll try to entertain people. So, thanks guys. It's pretty cliche to say thanks, and it's also pretty cliche to say it's cliche. I don't understand. For the future, I had ideas for videos. Like, for example, I draw a little bit, so maybe if I do something like that, it'll maybe entertain people in that way. I don't know. I'll use ideas I was thinking about and see what people think. I'll soon be doing a 100 subscribers special video to thank all the people that subscribed. It's gonna be a nice spicy meme video, and after you watch it, I'll guarantee you'll hate living. Anyway, moving on to the actual video part. This is my first commentary, so let's see how it goes. Also enjoy this nice trash gameplay in the back. Oh no. So recently my friend Super King Nicholas did a video about Overwatch versus TF2 saying how Overwatch will die in 1 to 2 years. When I watched the video, I disagreed with some of the points that he said in the video. Now before you go hit that dislike button and call me a faggot in the comments, let me just say this. I love both games. I sank over 3,700 hours into Team Fortress 2. By the way, if you wanna invite me to play a competitive game, I'll play. Come on. And to add, I also love Overwatch. I love the games equally, and although I have more hours in TF2, I can see myself sinking equally as much hours into Overwatch. 2,700 hours. So this commentary won't be really one-sided. Instead, like I said, I'll be addressing what Super King Nicholas said and hopefully spread my opinion across. Let's start with his first argument, which he says Overwatch is more reliant on hero countering rather than player skill.
Reason is Overwatch is, if you think about it, Overwatch is mainly reliant on hero countering rather than player skill.
Now, with this argument, I'm going to have to disagree. In both games, the characters are separated into different roles. In TF2, the 9 classes are separated into 3 categories: offensive, defensive, and support. Offensive characters tend to rely more on, well, attack. Their weapons and how the character is designed makes them the main fighting force of the team. They're usually the ones to go out and attack the objective. Defensive characters are better at, well, defending. The classes in this category have more firepower than the other 2 categories, and they excel at holding down objectives and protecting certain areas of the map. Support characters are good at attacking. No, I'm joking, it's support. What else would it be? Are you stupid? These classes have abilities that help their team win. You'll never usually see them up front fighting. In Overwatch, it's the same deal. They're separated into 4 categories: attack, defense, tank, and support. The attack, defense, and support are pretty much the same as with their TF2 counterpart, but with tanks, they usually have more health and they can take more hits. They're designed to take the hits for the team. Where am I going with this? Well, in both games, there is counterpicks because of this. Super King Nicholas says that Overwatch relies more on this, but this isn't the case. I'd say both games, they're pretty even in terms of counterpicking. Now, hear me out. In Overwatch, it relies on skill just like TF2. In Overwatch, for example, Reaper is designed to rip tanks apart because of his high DPS. But tanks can take him down given they take the right precaution. And in TF2, he gives the example Spy versus Pyro, but I'm going to use a different approach. I'm going to use the Engineer and Demo. The Demo is a hard counter to the Engineer in many situations, and unless the Engineer takes the right precautions to take down the Demo, he will usually go down to the Demo. Same thing with the whole Spy versus Pyro case. The Spy has to do the right things to win the fight, or he will lose almost all the time. In Overwatch, while there are counterpicks, players with skill know how to deal with these counters, and usually they'll do what they have to do to take down the counter. So because of this, I wouldn't really say that Overwatch relies on counterpicks. It relies on the player's skill, but the whole 6v6 instead of 12v12 like TF2, the whole skill aspect is a bigger factor. Also, in both games, choosing the right category of characters can have a big impact on the game as well. Overwatch a little bit more, but I won't talk about that right now. On to the next topic. The next argument he makes is that Overwatch's tactics and strategies for teamwork are way too bland.
Reason number 2, Overwatch's tactics and strategies for teamwork are way too bland.
Now, to a certain degree, I agree with this, but for the most part of it, I disagree. For starters, Overwatch is a young game compared to TF2. Right now, Overwatch is 4 to 5 months old, compared to TF2's 9 years, so it's only natural that TF2 would have all these strategies. As of right now, Overwatch community is getting to know the game better, and from my point of view, there's a potential for all these amazing strategies in Overwatch. Give the game some time to grow. Even in-game, people come across these amazing strategies to win their game. Overall, the game is young, so of course it's not going to have all these strategies and tactics that TF2 has. Right now, even as I speak, the meta for Overwatch is growing and changing. Give it some time to grow. It'll eventually have as many strategies and tactics as TF2. The next argument he makes is how Overwatch is updating way too fast.
Reason number 3, the game updates way too fast. My god, slow the fuck down.
Now, although I can see how this is a problem, overall, it really isn't that big of a problem. Let me explain. He says that Blizzard is throwing out all these ideas, and if they keep throwing out all these ideas too fast, they'll eventually run out of ideas. Now, first off, this is unlikely. With the amount of stuff Blizzard does for its games, it's unlikely for them to just run out of ideas for Overwatch. They're a game company. And with the amount of stuff that Blizzard does for its games, it seems unlikely they'll just run out of ideas, even if they are pumping updates out like this. But let's say on the rare occasion they actually do run out of ideas and updates suddenly halt. Updates don't make a game. While updates can add new stuff to a game or change some things in the game, in the end, it's still the game that keeps the players. First off, look at how many games people play on a daily basis that the game isn't being updated as frequently as Overwatch. Like for example, Super Smash Bros. Or Skyrim, the fan base for these games are huge, yet the games aren't being updated heavily. People play these games for the game itself because they love it so much. If Overwatch became that way, people would play it because it's a fun game to play. And while yeah, it's fun to have new updates, the game is fun overall, and the community will probably keep it alive if this ever happens. But I'm speaking like I know the future. Anyway, on to the next argument. He proceeds to say the characters are bland and repetitive.
Reason number 4, Overwatch's heroes are way too bland and repetitive.
Now this one I find incredibly wrong. He states that although there's a diverse number of characters, their gameplay gets repetitive after a while. Now first off, I wouldn't say that the characters are close to bland. Each one has a different way to play the game. I mean, we have like 4 healers in the game right now, and yet all 4 of them have different way of healing. No 2 characters play alike. With the whole weapons thing, it's like that in TF2 as well. There are a few exceptions like the sniper holding a huntsman, a crossbow, instead of a sniper rifle, but it still has the same sniper mechanic in the end. In TF2, the soldier for example has a rocket launchers that have different attributes. One would trade rocket for health, and one would trade damage for rocket speed, but at the end of the day, it's still a rocket launcher. The player might play a little different, but the weapon still has the same concept. If they were to add different weapons in Overwatch, it would probably be the same deal. The weapons in TF2 change the playstyle of the player, but in the end, if they truly wanted a different playstyle, they would change their class. If I'm making any sense. Overwatch characters aren't bland, and I can kind of see where he's coming from with this argument, but the characters just don't seem that bland. I mean, there's different ways to even play each character in Overwatch, but I'll talk about that some other time. Next topic. He states that the popularity of Overwatch is kind of fake. At least that's what I think he says.
Reason number 5, the game's popularity is kind of fake.
Here's another thing I disagree with. Blizzard sponsoring the competitive scene of Overwatch isn't a bad thing. Instead, it's probably a good thing. It's a very excellent company decision looking at it from a business point. Even Valve knows about the competitive scene of TF2 and supports it, even to go so far as to put badges in their game to show that you have participated in the competitive scene. A lot of companies sponsor the game's competitive scene. Blizzard doing it isn't a bad thing. Overwatch, like I said, is a young game, and a competitive scene wouldn't have kicked up like that given the age of the game so far. Blizzard had a kick started in a way, and people were even eager to play the competitive scene in Overwatch. In the future, probably communities will start to host their own competitive scenes, but Blizzard sponsoring their competitive scene isn't a bad thing. It helps the game grow, and it's overall a good thing. The rest of the video, he talks about miscellaneous things, but I wanted to say this. Both games are great. People play both games, and I love them in their own special way. In terms of Overwatch, people play it because of how team-oriented and objective-based it is. Because it's a 6v6, people need to work together to achieve their goals. That's the reason why I play the game as well. It's objective based, and working with a team is really fun. All it takes is one guy on the team to cause the team to fall. The game is amazing, and from my point of view, I doubt it will fall flat in the next couple of years. Team Fortress 2 I love playing because it's just a really fun game in general. In a normal game, people don't usually focus on the objective that much, and although that is the case, this game is still really fun. I mean, I wouldn't sink 3,700 hours into a game that wasn't fun. Both games have their own charm, their own vibe, and while both games are in the same genre of games, they both play differently. Comparing them is essentially useless. It's like comparing a raspberry and a blueberry. Although they're both berries in the end, they both have their own charms, and comparing them essentially makes no sense. But that's how I view it. I love both games, and I'll continue to play both games. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, if you got this far. This isn't my usual type of video, but I want to try something a little new. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you have an opinion, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.